Hey everybody, Ryan back here again. Alright, today we are doing the Vegas Golden Knights season preview. Alright, if you're watching this, thank you for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, then make sure to hit that subscribe button. What's it gonna hurt? What's the worst that can happen? You get some NHL news, you get to hear about scores, what's happening, draft, previews for the season. Could be worse. Hit that notification bell too so you get notified when those videos drop. Alright, other than that, let's get started with the Vegas Golden Knights season preview. Alright. Okay, one thing I gotta say. I'm not sure how the Vegas Golden Knights have a reverse retro jersey when their retro would be from 3 years ago. It's a nice looking jersey, the one I've seen, so I'm not criticizing the jersey, it's just I'm not sure how you can have a retro jersey when you're only 3 years old. It's like my 2-year-old saying, I'm retro. So what? What are you retro to? I just don't understand it, but it is what it is. Alright, anyways. They signed Tomas Jurko, 1 year, $700,000. They added Danny O'Regan, Regan? That's Regan. 1 year, $700,000. The big fish they got, Alex Pietrangelo, 7 years, $8.8 million per season. I'm sure they would love to get that cheaper than that, but I think he gave them a discount at that. Carl Dahlstrom, they got via trade, and I've never heard of this guy, but Dylan Sakura, they got via trade too. Subtractions, they lost Derek Engelland to retirement. He didn't play that much last year, but he still was a heart and soul guy, and he was probably about the only local guy you're going to get from Vegas in the near future. I mean, he wasn't born and raised there, but he had been living there. So, he was big when they acquired him at the, I want to call it a lottery draft, the not entry draft. Good lord, what did they call that? Expansion draft. There we go. Which we're going to have one this year for Seattle, so I'm going to be releasing a video later on about who I think each team is going to lose for that. So, keep an eye out for that if you're interested. Anyways, back to Vegas. John Merrill, they lost to Detroit. Nick Cousins to Nashville. Curtis McKenzie to St. Louis. I honestly didn't even know Curtis McKenzie was playing for them. No idea. Paul Stastny to Winnipeg. Nate Schmidt, they traded to Vancouver. Stastny and Schmidt was in the offseason, and they both were salary dumps. They were both traded. The rest of these they lost in free agency. So, Valentin Zykov, I've heard it said both ways on broadcasts. He was a free agent. He is a free agent. But I want to say I saw that he signed over in Russia, but I can't remember for sure, and I couldn't find anything on it, so I'm keeping him just as free agent. Garrett Sparks is a free agent. I want to say he went on a PTO somewhere. I don't remember where. I didn't look it up because he's not going to really make a huge difference for anybody. No offense to him, but it's the reality. Brandon Peary, they traded to Chicago. And who did they re-sign? They signed, I want to say in the broadcast I saw it, Tomas Nosek, 1 year, $1.25 million. Jimmy Schultz, a 1 year, $700,000. Reed Duke, the first player they ever signed for the team, 1 year, $700,000. Chandler Stevenson, who I honestly thought was a really good pickup for them last year from Washington, 4 years, $2.75 million per season. And Robin Leonard played really well. I mean, if it wasn't for the way Dallas played in that conference finals, it could have easily been Vegas against Tampa, which would have been an interesting series. Not to say Dallas and Tampa wasn't, but it could have been a bit of a different series. I don't know. But Leonard, 5 years, $5 million per season. Salary cap wise, they're sitting at 974 possible long-term injury reserve used. Projected cap hit is 82.4, so they're just over that line, but that 974,000 will put them under. But no wiggle room, really. That's why there's been rumors about Max Pacioretty possibly being shopped. And I mean, at $7 million, makes sense. Mark Stone, a huge contract for the next foreseeable few years. William Karlsson not playing to how he was that first year when he got this contract. So, I mean, he still provides decent offense. So, I mean, he's still worth 5.9, I think, at this point. But if he continues regressing, it could be a very long contract. Riley Smith, they've also, I guess, been shopping. Same for Jonathan Marchessault. Alex Tuck, I wouldn't be surprised if they were shopping him. Obviously not Chandler Stevenson. They just re-signed him. Ryan Reeves signed last season for extension of 2 years, 1.75. William Carrier, surprised he's making 1.4. Wow. He doesn't provide offense, but he's a hell of an injury line player. Him and Reeves and Nosek are usually their fourth line, and between Reeves and Carrier, good lord, there's a lot of hits being thrown out there. But their only UFA out there this year is Tomas Nosek, and no RFAs. But Cody Glass should be playing this year in the NHL full-time, I think. I think that's why they were okay trading away some of the people like Stastny. I think they're hoping Glass will fill that spot. They finally got their star defenseman in Alex Pietrangelo. Finally. I mean, Shea Theodore has been an amazingly good defender for them. I am still so mad that the Ducks had to trade him. And who did they protect? Jakob Silfverberg. Good player. I like him, but I'm not sure it was worth losing Shea Theodore over. Oh, no, that's right. It was Josh Manson they protected. I like Manson, so I can't be too sad about that. But it still would have been nice to have Shea Theodore these last few years. Anyways, Alec Martinez is a UFA this year. He is not coming back. I can pretty much guarantee that. Carl Dahlstrom is an RFA after this season. Honestly, Alec Martinez is someone they probably could get somebody to take for the rest of the season. But we'll see how trades work, if they work at all. This year, who knows? Marc-Andre Fleury has 2 more years left on his contract. So they have, what is that, $12 million in their goalies right there. Yes, I know that's saying that with Petrangelo's $8.8 million up there. I understand, but Fleury's getting paid $7 million to be a backup. Yay. I'm sure they'd love to get rid of his contract, but that modified no trade clause makes it very difficult. And also $7 million, you're going to have to retain salary there. Just like they still have 1 more year on Tomas Tatar's. They have $500,000 on his retained salary for 1 more season. So that goes away, but $500,000 doesn't provide a whole lot of space anywhere. So their big young player is probably Jack Dugan. I know he's not listed on the prospects list, but from everything I've seen on clips and that from him in college, he's a solid player. We'll see if it translates. Not all college players translate to NHL. Matt Gilroy comes to mind. Sorry, Ranger fans. But we'll see. I mean, he could score in college, so we'll see how that works out. I mean, probably their best known one is definitely Peyton Krebs. I mean, that guy, I remember him at the draft. He had just had Achilles tendon surgery, if I remember correctly. It was severed. The same one, I believe the same type of injury as Erik Karlsson had a few years back. He had a hard time walking on that stage with that boot on his foot, and you knew he was in pain. But he seems to have gone past it, and he is playing really well in the minors. So he might get a shot this year. He might. He'll be good down the line, whether it's this year or next year or the year after. I mean, he's only 19. He's got time. But if they are ready for him, let him get a shot in. Who knows? Worst case, he's still junior eligible. Play him the 9 games or 11 games and then send him back down. But really, with 56 games, you can't be playing too hard with that. So I'm not sure that's a possibility this year. But anyways, they got RFAs and Dylan Sakura, Gage Quinney, Duke Reed are all RFAs out there this year. They have Patrick Brown, Terrell Goulbourne? Sure. Goulbourne, we'll go with. Danny O'Regan and Tomas Yurko. All right, defensively, they got Nicholas Hague, who I can guarantee you is going to get time this year, because he definitely played last year. He looked good last year. He's a big kid. I know whenever I play NHL games, I usually pick him up if he's in the game, because he usually develops into a pretty dang good player. I know that's a game, that's not real life, whole different world, but just saying, he always ends up, he comes through for me in the game, so I want to see him come through in real life. Anyways, they got RFAs and Dylan Coughlin and Jimmy Schultz after this year. And then goalie-wise, Oscar Dansk is a UFA this year. I didn't even know Dansk was still on the team. Wow. Alright, draft-wise, they had number 29 overall, Brendan Brisson. He can play all three forward positions. 68 overall, they had Lucas Cormier, a defender, or Cormier. Sorry, it's Cormier. That's what they said, if I remember correctly. 91, Jackson Hallam. Plays all three positions in the forward. 125, Jesper Vilkman, a goalie. 184, Noah Ellis, a defender. And number 215, Maxim Marushev, the center. Alright. They got mix and match type of draft for the next couple years. I wonder if this still has to do with the expansion draft, any of these. I don't know. I want to look that up. I may do a video on that. What happened to all the draft picks the Vegas Golden Knights got? I'm going to do that video. That's going to be fun. Alright, that's for later. Right now, Vegas has their own first and their own second, as well as New Jersey's second. No third. They do not have their fourth, but they have Winnipeg's fourth. They do not have their fifth, but they have Carolina's fifth. They have their own sixth and seventh. In 2022, they have their first, second, and third, as well as Vancouver's third. They do not have their fourth, but they have a conditional possible Winnipeg fourth round pick. They have their own fifth, as well as Buffalo's fifth. They have their own sixth and seventh. Then they have all their own picks for 2023, as of now. Line-wise, you got the same first line that you've had since their beginning. Jonathan Marchessault, sorry, I always want to say it the other way. It's Marchessault. At least that's how they always say it in the programs on TV. That's how the Sharks announcers see it, because that's the only feed I can ever see when they play each other, because that's my local area, even though I live like 200 miles away from San Jose. But I still get blocked out from everyone else unless it's San Jose's feed. So, sorry if I'm a bit bitter about that. I still don't like it because I have to watch San Jose when they play against my team. I don't like their announcers personally, but that's a personal thing. Anyways, Jonathan Marchessault, William Karlsson, and Riley Smith is our first line. Like I said, 46 points from Karlsson, still worth $5.9 million, but if he regresses further, that $5.9 million is going to start hurting. And who knows if Marchessault or Smith are even still with the team after this year. We'll see. Let's see. Second line, Patre, Stevenson, and Stone. Solid line there. I mean, Stevenson needs to do a little bit more playing with those two, and I think he will play with those two, because that's where Stastny was last year. But I can also see Cody Glass getting slid in there if he plays well enough, so we'll see how that works out. Because I think Stevenson might be a better third-line center personally, but I think he could succeed there too. So, third line, they got Cody Glass, Nicholas Waugh, or Roy. I'm not sure. That one always goes back and forth as to which one it is. Alex Tuck, if he stays healthy, because he seems to always be hurt of the last couple years. William Carrier and Tomas Nolshek and Ryan Reeves. Like I said, that's their fourth line. Solid fourth line. I mean, look at that plus minus. That's not bad for a fourth line at all. Especially since every time I saw them against like Anaheim and San Jose, they always were stuck out there after an icing call, it seems like, with the first line of the opposing team, and yet they rarely got scored on from what I remember. Defensively, they're thinking about Braden McNabb and Alex Pietrangelo. Okay. Give me a good solid D pair. I mean, Pietrangelo is definitely the offensive guy. He can play defense along with McNabb. He can play defense. Alec Martinez and Shea Theodore. Going to be a solid pair. Shea Theodore will probably keep getting better. So he'll definitely provide the offense. And they, considering one play for Anaheim and one play for LA not long ago, they did pretty well together since they've been paired together when they acquired Martinez last year. So who knows? Maybe Martinez signs a cheaper contract to stay with them. Maybe. Nicholas Hague and Zach Whitecloud are the third pair. And that could be a decent pair because, like I said, 38 games last year for Hague, 11 points. For a guy 6'6", not bad for a beginning season. Let's see. I don't know what that little symbol means next to Fleury's name. But Robin Lehner and Marc-Andre Fleury. Now, I know if you're Vegas, you were very happy with how Lehner worked out. But I think at the same time, if you're a hockey fan in general, the way that worked out with Marc-Andre Fleury, that was a pretty harsh slap in the face to him. And I can see why his agent posted the video he did during the playoffs last year. I mean, Fleury has been their starter since day one. He brought him to the finals that first year and has been a solid goalie for him. So it was kind of a slap in the face for them to acquire him and start him over Fleury. So I can see why there may be some bitterness there. Because, I mean, Vegas has gotten rid of a lot of guys that helped them get to the finals that first year in favor of people like Mark Stone, Max Pacioretty. I mean, those are good players, and I'm not knocking them at all. It's just those soldiers you had that first year that got you to the finals. I think the league has noticed the slap in the face, and a lot of the players have, and that's why it's been tough. Really tough for them to maintain relationships, I think, because of that problem that a lot of people are having with that. Because the way you treated Marc-Andre Fleury last year, that was harsh. And I think anybody who's played or anybody who's watched this game long enough knows that it was harsh. But it's also a business. It's a business to win, so Leonard's a better long-term option at 29 than Fleury at 36. So I can see why they did it at the same time, but it was the way in which it was done that just was lacking in respect. So I'm not knocking you, Vegas, or the Vegas fans. It's just management and the coaches could have handled that better, is what I'm saying. It's not a knock against the team or the fans, especially not the fans. It's not their fault for dang sure. So if you're a fan, still love your team. I'm not saying don't love them. I'm just saying anybody looking on, that was hard to watch. It really was. I feel bad for Fleury because the guy's earned his place in this league. Leonard has too, but it's just a shot. That's just my personal opinion. That's all I'm going to say on it. Anyways, moving on. This is the taxi squad. Carl Dahlstrom will probably see a few games. Oh, God. Dance played last year? Oh, 6 goals against average? .838 and 0-1. I can see why he's 0-1 last year. Yeesh. Yikes. I know Payne Krebs is a guy who might play this year. I know Jake Lecision, I've heard chat about. Jack Dugan, or Duggan, I'm not sure which way he goes with that. Jake Bischoff played some games last year. Jimmy Schultz was a guy that when they signed, they had hoped he'd do what he did in college, and I don't think he's done it yet. But he's still only 25. Let's see where he goes from here. This is their minors, their loan, their prospects. Brisson's a good prospect. He's not going to be up this year, that's for sure. I mean, if he made the team this year, I'd be shocked. But down the line, I mean, he's not even signed yet, so he's not doing it this year. But it will be down the line, and I think he'll be a solid player. He's not going to be like a first-line player, but I think he could possibly fit into that maybe second, most likely third. And he'll be a solid provider from there. So, that's where I stand. Top prospect, Cody Glass, 12 points in 39 NHL games, 2 points in 2 AHL games. Peyton Krebs, 60 points in 38 WHL games. I think he will get time this year, possibly. I think that they should give him some time this year, but I'm not sure because their lineup's pretty full. So Zach Whitecloud, 1 point in 16 NHL games and 7 points in 35 AHL games. Nicholas Hague, 11 points in 38 NHL games and 10 points in 21 AHL games. And then Dylan Coghlan, 24 points in 60 AHL games. Others mentioned as top prospects: Connor Corcoran, a defender; Kaden Korczak, a defender; Brandon Cruz, left winger; Peter Dilibertori, defender; and Lucas Elvenes, right winger. So this is going to be a top team. Easy enough. They got a dang good roster. I mean, Leonard gets hurt, Fleury can go in. So at least they got a solid goaltending duo. And their defense, yeah, their third pair probably could use some experience and maybe more veteran presence. But they still have a good, solid defense, especially with Pietrangelo back there now. Offense is strong. As long as everybody's healthy on this team, they should be a top team. And they're going to finish at the top of their division. Because, like I said, we know the top three in this division. I think it's going to be Colorado, St. Louis, Vegas. They're definitely going to be top three. It's really who gets fourth. That's really the only question. So, Vegas, you have a lot to look forward to. It's going to be another good year. You're going to have a hell of a playoffs because you're going to have to play either St. Louis, Colorado, or whoever gets fourth. So, good luck to you. I think it's going to be another good year, another good solid playoff run, I think. So, hopefully you get that top prize. Hopefully any of these teams in this league do. I don't really have anybody I'd say no to. I'm going to be objective and keep with that. Anyways, other than that, Vegas, good luck. Vegas fans, I think you'll have a good year. So, other than that, if you're watching, thank you for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, hit that little notification bell next to it so you get notified when a new video drops. Other than that, like, comment, share, and I will see you all next video. Bye, everybody.